data. Interesting. Somehow the biomass prevented the excavator from automatically shutting down. This X3 unit was tasked with performing a manual shutdown. Doctor, I found another recording as well.
Nora.
Yes. I can archive the message if you prefer.
No, it's all right. Go ahead.
Director Park, Habitat A has been vacated. All residents are aboard the evac shuttle.
All right, good. Wait until the shuttle has cleared moorings, then shut down the auxiliary power station. Make sure everything is offline.
Director, please verify last command. With the primary generator already deactivated, you will not get life support.
You heard me. As soon as the Habe shuttle is clear, shut everything down, then transfer your protocols to the nearest evac ship. The survivors are your priority now. The rest of us are already dead.
Acknowledged, Director. I will be sure to make special note of your actions in my debriefing.
Just go.
How many people were in Habe during the outbreak?
14, including 6 children.
She bought them time. Probably saved all their lives.
That was her job. Juno, be sure to save that log. Keep it with the others.
Of course, Doctor. Shields at 50%. Shields at 30%. Shields at 95%. There is a wealth of data here. Much of it will be useful for improving the counterpulse emitter's efficiency. Good find. Connectivity restored. This dock is now aiding in the development of your regenerative shield jack. There's a moderate amount of data here we can use to increase counterpulse efficiency. Thanks, Jack.
The fabricator is just to the left of the bridge entrance.
Moving out into the debris field now.
Just get that FTL and get back here quick as you can. No sense spending any more time over there than you need to.
Agreed.
Alright, let's assume this works. Let's say you two track down a working FTL. We get it hooked up and Apollo manages to recreate a physical time jump that, by some miracle, sends us back home to our own time. How exactly are we supposed to eliminate all the biomass once we're there? I mean, it's not like we can just set off a bomb and blow it all to smithereens. That's exactly what you're planning to do, isn't it?
Well, not a bomb so much as a device that will unleash a sudden and forcible burst of energy across a widespread area.
So, a bomb.
Yes, a bomb. But one that emits a counterpulse that should only be harmful to the biomass.
Brilliant.
I am a tactical AI. Most of my solutions tend to involve some form of explosion.
Uh-huh.
How will we make this device?
I mean, I could do it, but my hands are a bit tied at the moment.
I can easily repurpose existing equipment to construct a counterpulse dispersion catalyst.
Cure bomb.
Very well. Cure bomb. We will also need a means of transport, ideally one that can regulate the catalyst's energy signature.
The cargo drones should be more than capable of assembling the materials we need.
Excellent. I will transmit the details.
Wait a second. How is Jack's reboot ability supposed to work in the past without the fabricator network?
My design for our makeshift transport includes a single fabricator to accommodate Jack's reboot for the duration of our mission. Once we've detonated the catalyst and are out of danger, we can address reintegrating Jack's protocols into an Atlas network.
Assuming all this goes to plan.
Well, yes. It would be rather difficult to operate on the opposite assumption.
Shields at 95%. Shields at 95%. Shields at 95%. Shields at 95%.
I've reached the drive bay.
How's it looking there?
Given the damage the Estrella has sustained, I would not expect even a simple system such as this to remain operational. More or less how we expected.
That bad, is it?
Jack, the removal process will require access to several mechanisms throughout the drive bay. Any live ticks in the area will undoubtedly make our job that much more difficult.
Understood. I'll clear them out.
Our aim is to locate a viable FTL drive. We need one that is suitably infected with biomass, but not to the extent that it is overrun.
The Goldilocks FTL.
An accurate, if somewhat antiquated metaphor. Once we find a suitable drive, we'll need to remove it from its housing and extract it via the corresponding service port. The removal process is no easy task, but I can walk you through the procedure.
All clear, Apollo.
Acknowledged. Now then, we should start by identifying any FTLs that are still extractable. Look for drives whose locking pins are largely clear of biomass at the upper and lower extremities.
Understood. I'll see if there's a drive that's clear enough to move.
Anyone able to cross their fingers, do it now.
Some biomass is present, but not enough to impede the locking pins. Now to inspect the opposite end. The locking pins on this end also appear to be free of any obstruction.
Confirmed. Cursory inspection verified. Internal biomass growth is also suitable for our needs.
Is that our winner?
It certainly appears so.
So we're good to go.
Nearly. The FTL will first need to be primed, which requires filling the drive with an ionized fluid and stimulating a hybrid voltaic reaction.
Is that as dodgy as it sounds?
Priming the drive is a fairly standard procedure. Moving a drive after it's been primed is most certainly not.
How do we start the procedure?
The drive controls are offline. You'll need to initiate the process manually. Look for an access panel on the side of the FTL drive.
Access panel located.
You'll have to cut your way in. Pull the lever inside and the drive will begin priming. Once the injection process is complete, I will funnel all remaining power in the drive bay to the FTL.
Drive priming initiated.
Injection complete. I will now attempt to create a sustained reaction by applying any remaining power. Stand by. Sustained reaction achieved. We're ready to remove the drive.
Outstanding.
What's next, Apollo?
The FTL drive is held in place by locking mechanisms at its upper and lower extremities. They must be manually released before the drive can be removed.
Got it. I'll release the locks.
The release mechanisms are housed within the drive moorings at both the top and bottom of the chamber. You'll need to cut your way in.
Understood. The drive's locking mechanism is inside this housing?
Correct. You'll need to cut through to open the cover.
I've gained access to the drive locking mechanisms.
The release control is located on the drive itself, between the locking pins.
Bottom locking mechanism released.
Good. Once you release the upper lock, the drive should come free.
Drive unlocked.
Excellent. I've repowered a nearby control panel so you can complete the removal procedure. The controls will allow you to position the drive so it can be easily removed via cargo drone.
Controls located.
To move the drive, simply grip the interface, then slide your hand toward the outer wall.
Moving FTL into position.
Steady on there, Jack. That's our ride home.
Once the drive reaches the outer wall, you can open the... Jack, be advised. Ticks inbound.
Stand by. I'll deal with that.
They must have been drawn out by the drive's substantial energy signature.
Tick threat neutralized. Resuming removal process at the control terminal.
Once the drive reaches the outer wall, you can open the service port to make the drive available for retrieval.
The drive is in position. How do I open the service port?
Multi-operator release controls on either side of the hatch.
Removal process complete. The FTL drive is ready to be extracted.
Good work, Jack. Drones are on their way.
Copy that.
Ready to depart with the cargo in T-10 seconds. If you plan to accompany the drive, I suggest you take hold now. Departing in 3, 2, 1. Thrusters engaged.
I'm exiting the drive bay.
Give the Estrella a wave as you go. Suppose this is the last we'll be seeing of her.
I'm afraid that's not entirely accurate.
What do you mean?
To ensure we eliminate all the biomass in the past, we will need to generate a counterpulse substantial enough to blanket the entire Kronos 2 orbital sector. To do so, we will have to venture into the remains of the Estrella that were left behind in 2126, and use the ship's primary drive exchange conduit to amplify the output of the Cure Bomb.
Kinda grows on you, doesn't it?
Not unlike a biomass infestation.
So, where am I in all this?
I will need you to accompany us into the wreckage. As acting captain of the Estrella, your authorization is required to access the primary drive bay.
Right. Well, I've nearly finished rigging up the gantry. Should be good to go by the time the drones turn up with the FTL. I'll see you back here shortly.
Acknowledged.
Jack, I should tell you, if our plan succeeds, it is unlikely you will be able to return to this timeline. If there are any outstanding tasks you'd like to finish, now might be the opportune time.
Understood.
Jack, I want to remind you again. Once we start this process, we are effectively locked in. Your shell will be exclusively paired to the fabricator on the rear of the transport rig. If you exceed its range, you will be forced to reboot. If you have any remaining tasks you'd like to address, this is your final opportunity.
Yes, I believe I could use a little more time. There's still more of the station I'd like to investigate.
Certainly. In the meantime, we will continue our preparations.
Just come let us know when you're all squared.
This drone was also testing the thruster optimizations.
It would appear nearly every drone was.
Indeed. Unfortunately, we still don't have enough data to fully replicate the optimizations, but we now have a sufficient volume of information to develop an incremental improvement. I've already added it to the installation queue. Please return to the nearest fabricator.
Copy that. Thank you, Juno.
Oh, and should we obtain further data in the meantime, I can still use it in our attempt to fully replicate the optimizations.
Of course.
Shields at 50%. Nice work, Jack. There's a decent quantity of data here, and most of it can be applied toward refining the counterpulse. Warning, you are now entering an irradiated zone. It is most likely due to warheads and other debris from the Estrella. I've adjusted the coloring of the nearby field markers to reflect the level of radiation. Orange for light intensity, and red for heavy. Please exercise caution. Advise you remain mindful of your surroundings, Jack. The area you are now entering was once a biomass storage site. If local readings are any indication, the infection is no longer contained. So, unfortunately, it will not be viable for recreating the FTL accident. Its inventory logs were updated very recently.
Then it must be after something else.
Warning, radiation field nearby. Shields at 30%. This dock is now part of the computational array. Checking data store. Maneuver and thruster optimizations were being tested on this drone too. Excellent. Judging from this data, it seems the cargo drones here are stuck in some kind of loop, though I'm not clear as to why. Shields at 95%. Shields at 50%. Shields at 30%. Maneuvering thruster data retrieved. Not quite enough to reverse engineer the concept, but a good find nonetheless. Incremental optimizations installed. Your maneuvering thrusters should now be able to sustain thrust for a greater duration before needing to recharge. The power-to-thrust ratio has been improved.
Excellent. Thank you, Juno.
Of course, if you're able to locate additional cargo drones, their data should allow me to complete the optimizations, at which point your maneuvering thrusters would be able to operate continuously without any need for recharging.
I'm entering what appears to be a small facility.
It's a control hub, a centralized location for coordinating cargo drones in the local vicinity.
A numeric code is required for entry.
Local logs indicate an engineer was working nearby around the time of the outbreak. Any chance of learning the code lies within finding them. Shields at 95%. Data stores on this drone include the maneuvering thruster optimizations as well. Find more if you can, Jack.
Copy that. I have discovered some kind of embedded construction site here.
Records show it was part of the research facility's ongoing expansion. Apparently, more laboratory space for further testing of their experimental containment technology. There should be an airlock nearby that may allow you to explore further.
I've located the entrance to the lab, but it's currently lacking power.
I'm detecting equipment nearby that may be worth investigating. I would advise caution, Jack. You were approaching a radiation field. Scanning archive. Experimental maneuvering thruster optimization found. Not quite enough data to fully replicate it, though.
Now entering what appears to be a control room.
The biomass has broken through the security bulkhead. The infestation may be worse than I thought.
That sounds about like our luck.
If we can at least remove the tick threat, that might be enough to lift the lockdown.
Just be safe in there.
Are these controls for the bay door?
Correct. The door was automatically sealed once containment protocols were breached. Give me a moment to review the data. It would appear a power outage triggered a secondary outbreak in this area. I pulled a recording of the incident and added it to your data tab.
Warning, power levels critical. System failure imminent.
No.
Please evacuate the facility.
Not in the middle of a transfer.
Technician Evanov, retreat to the...
Unit 1!
Go!
This looks to be a variation of the robotic arms we encountered in the research facility.
Yes, I believe so. This configuration appears to have a stasis projector in place of cloak emitter.
This disposal unit is likely our best means for removing the ticks.
It certainly worked for us before. I see no reason why it wouldn't this time.
We should be able to lift the lockdown.
Loading bay. Vacated of all Type D biomass organisms. Releasing lockdown.
A broken containment unit. Most likely the source of the local infestation. I'm opening the bay door now. Apparently, the observation drone's destination lies further within the facility.
Blueprints show a storage room in that direction. Perhaps that is its destination. Approaching a radiation zone.
Did to say Technician Evanoff. The drone seems to have found its objective.
Robin Evanoff.
One of our technicians. I didn't know them particularly well.
Could be someone sent the drone to find them.
That does seem the most likely scenario. Jack, these data stores contain a complete schematic for the robotic stasis arms you used earlier. In fact, they were likely developed as a means for improving containment technology. It's possible with more data, I may be able to repurpose this design to allow your grip projector to restrain ticks for a greater duration.
Very well. I'll search the area for more data ports.
Jack, wireless pings indicate there's still potentially useful data yet to be retrieved from the storage site.
This charge's condition is far from optimal.
The observation drone might have been responding to the malfunction. They do rely on them for recharging.
This data port appears beyond repair.
Most unfortunate. It likely possessed useful information about the adjoining containment units. Perhaps we'll find the other rack's data port in a more favorable condition. Data received. I see. The stasis projectors in these containment units have been modified from the base design I'm familiar with. Particularly, they've been optimized for handling contained samples. Combining this design with the stasis arm schematics you discovered earlier, I've managed to complete the improvement for your grip projector. Simply proceed to the fabricator in the loading bay and we'll begin the installation.